The next construction video continues with working with angles, and we are going to construct a congruent angle. Now, this congruent angle construction is based on our congruent segment construction. So in constructing a congruent angle, we are going to be starting with an angle. We're going to start with an angle, and we are going to have to make an angle that is congruent to it, or we are going to copy that angle. Now, just like our congruent segment construction, we had to have a starting point. Our starting point for an angle is a ray. So we are going to start by creating a new ray and making sure that we have a new ray. Because we are making a congruent angle, everything that we do with the original angle, we have to repeat on our ray. So the only place that we can put our compass is on the vertex of the original angle. And we follow the same basic beginning steps for any angle construction by drawing an arc that intersects the angle on both rays, or you can think about it as in intersecting in two places. So I draw this arc, intersect the angle in two places. We are copying this angle, which means if we do anything to the angle, we have to do it to our ray. So we place our compass at the endpoint of the ray and we draw the same exact arc. Okay? From here, we basically just follow our congruent segment construction. What we do is we measure the distance between the intersection points of the arc and the rays. So we go to our original angle, we can place our compass here, and we just measure this distance. Okay? So you put your pencil on the other side and you measure that distance. You lock your compass. Then you move your compass to where the ray intersects the arc. So you move it down here. And then you make an arc with the same distance from step 5. Okay? You're just copying the invisible segment down to your angle. From there, you are just going to connect the vertex or the intersection. You're going to connect that intersection to the new vertex of our new angle, and that will be your new ray for your congruent angle. So to actually do this, we have an angle. We have a ray already. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to put our compass on the vertex of our original angle, and we are going to draw an arc that intersects both sides of the angle. If we do it on this, we have to go over to our ray where our new angle is going to go and draw an arc that intersects the ray, and we have to make sure we come up high enough to visualize where our angle is going to be. It's always better to draw your arc bigger than it needs to be than smaller than it needs to be. So after we do that, there's nothing else we can do on that ray. So we go back to our original angle, and we are going to measure the distance, essentially, in between the two rays. So we move our compass. We're going to move our compass down to this intersection, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to measure the distance between this intersection and the intersection up here. So if we are measuring this distance, that looks to be about correct. I can draw an arc. Drawing that arc just helps you match up everything once you move it to the ray. Now, we measure that distance. The only place we can put our compass now on this ray is the intersection with the arc and the ray. So we put our center of our compass in the same exact spot, and then we are just going to make our arc. Once we make that blue arc, we connect that new intersection point to our vertex, and we are then going to have an angle that is congruent to our original angle. So now our two angles are congruent, and you have your first constructing a congruent angle or copying an angle construction. So those two angles, they have a different orientation, but they are congruent. And this construction is based on your congruent segment construction. To assist in copying these angles, I will also copy a obtuse angle for you. So first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take our compass and we are going to put it on our vertex and we are going to draw our reference arc. So that is our reference arc. From here, we are going to move down to our ray and do the same exact reference arc. It's obtuse, we need to go pretty far on this side. From there, we are going to go over to our original angle and we are going to measure the distance between the rays. So we're going to measure the distance between the rays. So that looks to be about perfect. Then once we measure that distance, we are going to copy that distance down here on this bottom ray, intersect. Ooh, I just barely made that arc long enough. And from there, we are going to connect our vertex to that intersection, and that moved, so that wasn't good. We just connect that vertex to our intersection. That might be a little bit off because I moved it, but that would be a obtuse angle that's congruent to our given angle that we started with. So we copied our angle, we made a congruent angle, and that is how you make a congruent angle construction.